oftentimes with native grass plantings, there can be some challenges with getting that drilled accurately, and so a lot of times we use Bolker. And so we brought Tyson in today to kind of help us work through the process of what it means to use Bolker and what its advantages are. So Tyson, could you explain to us about Bolker and what its purpose is?
Yeah. So like you said, with some of these native grass plantings and wildflower plantings, the seeding rate is so light, so little seed, that it's hard to spread those seeds out evenly distribute across the area in the planting area. So by adding a Bolker, you can increase the volume of the mix, allowing you to more evenly distribute those seeds across the planting area when you've got more material to spread versus just a few pounds. You can turn it into tens of pounds and more easily spread that across the area.
Okay, so we've got laid out in front of us 3 different Bolkers that can be used. Explain to us what is in these baggies and what each of them's intended purpose would be when it comes to Bolkers.
Yep, we've got 2 different types of Bolkers here. One is a grain Bolker used for a small hard seed, and then we have some fluffy Bolkers used for fluffier mixtures that contain grass seeds that are fluffy, and or some of the wildflowers that have a fluffy nature to them. The hard seed filler, the cracked grain, this is wheat here, and it's cracked out to a small size, real similar to the size, shape, and texture that of a lot of the small wildflower seeds that we plant, like alfalfa and other clovers, and as well as switchgrass. Switchgrass is a very small hard seed as well. So if we have mixtures that contain those, oftentimes if they're sorted, the grain Bolker is good for adding to alfalfa and other wildflower blends to add bulk weight to that mix. The fluffy Bolkers, we have cottonseed hulls here, and this is a really fluffy, small seed hull that's cracked out. None of these will have any germination to them at this point, but it just adds more volume, more fill, and allows you to bulk up that weight of your mixture. The cottonseed hulls is good for some of the monarch and pollinator blends where you've got a mixture of fluffy and small seeds, and you're seeding them at the same time through the same box on your drill. And lastly, the rice hulls here is cracked rice hull. It's real similar to that of a lot of the native grasses in seed length and shape and weight. So this is a good Bolker to use when you've got a light grass rate of just a couple pounds an acre. You can add sometimes 4 to 1, 5 to 1, even 10 to 1 on rice to your grass weight, and really bulk that mix up to where you can fill your drill and let it flow properly through with rice hulls as an additive to help carry that grass seed across the area.
Yeah, so you mentioned alfalfa and some of these other forbs, but Black-Eyed Susan, really a lot of these forbs would be an ideal fit to bulk with the cracked grain.
Yep. And I've got an example here of a small seed. This is a forb interseeding mix, and the seeds inside here are so small and tiny and hard seeds that when this is mixed with the grain, it'll allow it to flow a lot better. And to put just a couple pounds like this over multiple acres, usually a pound an acre of some kind of seed like this, it's really hard to spread that evenly across that much square footage. So by adding a lot of that cracked grain, you can make that more achievable.
Yeah, and this mix here is very diverse. I'm looking in here, and we've got some coneflowers, some milkweeds, a little bit of everything in this forb mix here. And the consistency would match up pretty well with the cracked grain. So, and the rice hulls would be used for more of a straight grass mix.
Yep. The rice hulls goes with your grass and anything seeded through your fluffy box on your native grass drill. A lot of these Bolkers that we're talking about, are going to be specifically used when including them in a specialty native grass drill. Through a conventional drill or something, you might be able to get a rate dialed to where you could seed your cracked grain more similar to a grain sorghum or milo seeding rates if you're doing some interseedings there. But when you start dealing with some of the specialty mixes that have the fluffier seeds in them, you really got to use the native grass drill that has the special parts that allow it to seed that fluffy seed. Otherwise, they get clogged up and they won't leave the drill very easily. On the grass end, this is kind of a common, and you can see how fluffy we've got here. On this is a big blue stem. We got some switchgrass, some side oats, and Indian grass here. This one doesn't have little blue stem, or it'd be even fluffier. But this is a mix that would mix with rice hulls would allow for a much heavier seeding rate and better to distribute that across an acre of ground.
Yeah, we can see, kind of comparing the two here. Rice hulls are going to more mimic that, and then like you said, if you add little blue stem to that, it's really going to be fluffy. So. All right, so in closing, I guess what's the overall objective or advantage to applying Bolker?
Yep. So when applying Bolker, the benefit is that you can very inexpensively, for the cost of these additives into your mix, you can raise the bulk weight of your seeding to an achievable amount of seed that's easily to seed across that area without having to double your acres or spend a lot of extra money on additional acres of the entire mix to make sure you've got enough to cover the area. And getting familiar with your drill and your equipment to know which box on your drill these go in, as far as your small seeded box and your fluffy box or grain box on the drill. So get familiar with your equipment and the types of bulkers that we have to offer here, and ask for them in your mixes.